How do you create a course that sells? A course that people want to buy? A course that they'll pay for again and again and they'll tell other people to go and buy? How do you create a course that people actually want? That's what we're going to talk about in this video today. And this is a question that I get all the time. So I'm providing a full, complete answer. Make sure you watch until the end. If you don't know who I am, my name is 𝗙𝗵𝗹𝗲 from teachingrevolution.com, where we help you sell the knowledge you already have to people who need it. And one of the biggest problems when people create a course is that they start with what is supposed to be in the course. They start making the course immediately. And that probably sounds logical to most people, right? Like if you're going to make a course, you need to know what's going to be in the course, what the course is going to be about. But that's actually not the first step. And that's where most people go wrong. They waste years, sometimes weeks, months, but usually it's years, making something that nobody wants and nobody's going to buy. That's a huge mistake. And that can set you back a lot of time. So I want to make sure that I help you in this video get past that, through that, so that you don't make that same mistake, because I've just seen thousands of people make that mistake before. Just to give you some background information, I have actually created multiple courses, done millions of dollars in course sales, and that's been in different areas. Selling language courses, selling coaching programs, and I help other people do that too. And the biggest thing that I see is that when they come to me, they say, okay, Chris, so what is supposed to be in my course? That's really their first question. Usually they say, I'm a teacher, I'm an expert, I'm a coach of some kind, and they say, I want to sell a course, and they think they know who their audience is. They think they know the problem that they're solving for, but when we really get down to it and I ask detailed questions on a call or after they join a program and we're doing an onboarding or something like that, then I discover that they don't really know that stuff. And that's okay, because we handle that really fast, but you have to know that. You have to know who you're serving, and it's not for the reason that you think. It's not just because you need to give them what they need to know in order to get the result. That's also part of it, but nobody's even going to see your course if nobody buys it. And so you have to start from this point of, what do people actually want? And when you're creating a course, it's very easy to fall into this trap of just making a course that you think people want. And because of your experience, because you've been doing it for such a long time, because you're an expert at what you do, you think you know that. And you probably have really good insights into what people want or need, but it's really difficult for you to just make a decision yourself that this is what everybody wants and this is what everyone will buy. You have to test it out, or you have to do some research. And it's not the kind of research or test that you're thinking of. You don't have to, make a million different offers and then see which one sticks. Instead, what you need to do is you need to go to the market, ask those people what they want, and then give it to them. And that sounds really simple, but there's a counterintuitive way that you have to go about it, okay? The first thing that you have to do, and you might disagree with me when you first hear this, but hear me out, because I've just seen this thousands of times, so please believe me, but just at least give me a minute so that you listen to what this is. When you first start out, you need to sell the course first, okay? And not make the course, you need to sell the course. Every day, people elect what they want. They choose what they want, they vote. And people in the marketplace vote with their dollars, with their money. And a lot of times, if you just ask someone what they want, they'll tell you what they think you want to hear, or they'll tell you what they have on their mind, but they will not tell you exactly what they will pay for. Even if they say that they want something, the bigger question is, will they buy it? And that's the most important question to answer when you're creating a course. Are they going to buy it? Because if nobody's going to buy it, nobody's going to go through your course. And most of the people who get on calls with me and want my help with this, that's the big problem that they're facing. They've either already started making a course, or they've been spending a lot of time making a course, or they have this grand idea of what the course is going to be with all the different parts. And they have it all planned out, and they say, this is new. This is what people want. This is what's going to get a big result. But nobody's going to get the result if they don't actually get the course, right? And I hope that that makes sense to you. So what we have to do first is we have to sell the course. Selling the course is what we call proving the concept. And you don't actually have to make the course before you sell it. Now, a lot of people, when I first say that, they say, well, Chris, that's immoral. That's lying. That's not honest. It couldn't be further from the truth. It's absolutely honest. It's more honest than you making a course that you think they want and then trying to get them to buy what you made because of what you thought. Instead, you need to sell it to them so that you actually know what they're willing to pay for. Because if they're not willing to pay for it, then it's just words, right? A lot of people say one thing and then do something completely different. You need to break through that barrier. You need to understand what they're willing to invest their money in, because that's where their time will go. Once they've made the investment, they will be ready to do the work. If they just said, oh, that would be nice to have, they're probably not going to do the work. They'll just say, oh, I have this thing, it's nice to have. That doesn't mean I'm going to do it, right? So how do you sell before you create? You make a different promise. When you're selling your course, you're selling the promise of an outcome or the promise of a result. You're solving a problem, but what you're really selling is the final stage when the person has already solved that problem. That's where they want to go. And so there's a big difference between what people want and what people need. You're selling what they want and then giving them what they need. So what you do is you make a different promise at the beginning if you don't have your course made. Sure, later, after you've done it a few times, when you've proven the concept, you've gotten sales, then you create the course and then you can just sell what you have, because you already know that this audience, this group of people who are often very, very similar, that they want this and they need this. But in the beginning, you make a different promise. You say, okay, I'm going to do this for you in the future, and here's what I promise to do in the future, and here's how I promise to give it to you in the future, and you pay now to buy that. There's no promise that it's already done, it's already made, you'll get it immediately, right? So a couple ways that we like to do this is we might have a slow release of content or of what's in the course. Now, a course could be live delivery, right? It could be like a lesson or consultations or something like that that takes your time. But most people who are creating a course want to get away from selling their time and sell just the value. And so if you're going to sell pieces of content, and maybe it's a hybrid, right? Maybe there's content and time. Maybe there's also a community aspect. Those are really the three pieces that most people put into an offer that is connected to a course. You've got the content, you've got the community, and then you've got the customization, which is some personal touches like coaching or one-on-one interaction or mentorship or something like that. And so what you do is you promise that you'll release it later. So you say, I'm going to help you with this, and every week I'm going to give you this piece and this piece and this piece. You see, that's a different promise from saying you're going to get it all up front. And it's absolutely ethical and it's fine to say that and to make that promise, because you're still fulfilling what you promised. You're still living up to your word. And so that's one way to do it. Another way is to just do an early release, like an early registration, we call it. And this is where you say, you pay now, and then we're going to give it to you in a month. I mean, so many companies do this all the time. And it's just a different promise of how you're going to deliver what they're getting. If you're creating a course right now, really, you need to avoid that trap of saying, I know everything, I know what they want, I've been doing this for years. What I've found is that people who have been doing it for years are at a serious disadvantage. And that's, again, counterintuitive, because you think that if you've been doing it for such a long time, it should be really easy for you to keep doing it, or for you to deliver on that. But usually what happens is, if you've been doing it for a long time, you have these ingrained ideas that are hard to get rid of or hard to break down and do something different from. What happens is you're stuck in that mindset of this is how it has to be done. I saw this a lot when I was coaching different education brands and businesses, and they would come into the market and say, well, this is what has to be done. This is what everyone expects. You don't have to do it that way. You can always find another way to go a little faster. And usually when you go faster, you're actually doing it a better way for the customer too. So that's the big takeaway that you should get from this video. Don't make your course first, sell your course first, sell your course by making a different promise. And there are so many different ways to make a promise and to still deliver on what you promise. That's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.